Hi everyone, Eric Allen here, founder of Planiversity. Today I'm going to teach you about Planiversity. I'm going to tell you what solutions we provide. I'm going to tell you what pain points we address, and I'm going to tell you how to use the service. All right, let me paint you a little bit of a picture here. Have you ever actually attended an event or you've attended something where there was expected to be more than one person and the information that was being shared with you, that was being shared with everyone, was confusing? It was all over the place. The documentation that you needed to sift through your email just to find. There had been 10 emails sent out, so now you're starting to get confused about where the information is coming from, what the most recent information is, what's the most correct information, where you're supposed to be at what time, where you're going to park when you go to this location, who's attending, etc. Of course, we've all attended those events. We've all had those experiences, which is why I created Planiversity, right? Because I know that communication is actually one of the most difficult things that we do as people, and the point from which information originates to the last person in the chain, that information is usually distorted. It's usually confused. And again, if the person who's sending out the information for that event, be it a birthday party, be it a wedding, doesn't really matter what it is, that information being sent out, if it starts coming through as more than one email, I'll tell you an example that I recently experienced. Was I was supposed to go out to Denver to attend some corporate training, and the company that was sending me the information that I needed before I got there had actually sent out more than 10 emails. It actually got to a point where I just stopped reading the emails and said, you know what, I'm just going to figure it out when I get there, because now that information was constantly changing. The information was sent out originally in the first one or two emails, and then it changed in the third or fourth email, and then even more information started to trickle down, making the entire process confusing. And then you start deleting emails, everything gets confusing, and we just want to avoid that altogether, right? With Planiversity, you're going to find a much, much easier way to control information, to keep everyone updated, to avoid those pain points of having to actually go through your email, of people having to constantly reach out to you and say, hey, what time are we supposed to be there again? Hey, what's the information that I need? Hey, what document do I actually need to be able to get into this event? That type of thing. We address that. And when using Planiversity, one of the things that you're going to find is we are definitely a communication enhancement tool, right? In addition to that, we're an information sharing tool and we're a timeline management tool. Those three things are the pillars of Planiversity. Those are the core functions of our service. And some of the other things that you'll actually get with us is the ability to customize and personalize your planning experience, meaning you can put your own cover photo on it. You could put your own title on it. Not only is this, Julia's wedding, but now it's, Julia's wedding with fantastic photography on the cover of it. This is a personalized photo. You actually personalize the plan so that it's yours. And then on top of that, we're also working to bridge professional services with user experience, and that we'll talk a little bit more about. So without further ado, I'm going to stop with this intro. Let's get into the service and how it actually works. Now, I mentioned before that the core functions of Planiversity, or our pillars as I say, are communication enhancement, information sharing, and timeline management. Now, what that means is you're going to be able to streamline communication through planning, meaning if you have an event or some kind of job or something going on where there's going to be, 10 people attending, 20 people attending, this is the type of service that will allow you to actually disseminate information to that large group and keep everyone on the same page. Now, let's be honest. In today's fast-paced world, effective communication is the cornerstone of success in any organization, right? But all too often, communication breakdowns and information silos plague even the most well-intentioned teams, leading, of course, to missed deadlines, misunderstandings, and sure, lost opportunities as well. So just imagine now a world where communication flows seamlessly and where information is readily accessible to those who need it when they need it. Well, with Planiversity, the solution to communication woes is finally here, right? With our service, you can actually say goodbye to endless email threads and convoluted document sharing. Our intuitive platform streamlines the entire process, allowing you and your team to collaborate effortlessly no matter where they are. So if you actually have, maybe you own a steam cleaning service, maybe you own a business where you install something, you have, 10 carpenters working for you, and you want to disseminate job information to all those individuals, you can do that individually individually, or you can do that as a group. It's really up to you who you want to actually send this information out to. Of course, you could just be having a bachelorette party. You could be having a wedding. You could be having a company function where there's going to be 200 people attending and you want everybody on the same page. That is what Planiversity is going to do for you. So again, coming back to those functions, we enhance communication, we allow information sharing, and we seamlessly process timeline management, right? But instead of just telling you about it, let's actually get into the meat and potatoes of how we actually put this thing to work for you. So here we are at the Planiversity dashboard. Now, one of the things that you will notice right away looking at it is that it's clean, right? Going through the process of design, we wanted to make sure that, unlike a lot of services out there, we kept it as clean as possible. For me, I am very, very turned off by services that are too convoluted. They have just too much congestion on their pages. Everything's just kind of all over the place. Even color-wise, nothing really has a good sync to it. So we didn't want to go that route. We want to keep everything clean. We want to keep it popping when it comes to color, and we want to make it very appealing. So you will notice a little bit of combination of colors in here. Of course, we have the balance between dark blues, light blues, whites, and of course our orangish yellows, The color of the cards here, initially these were white, but now we've added color. So when you actually customize your card and you put a picture on it and put a title on it, you'll notice that those cards come here. Now, if you don't choose to put an actual photo on it, that's absolutely fine. It will default to a Planiversity default picture. But otherwise, these pictures actually give the page even more color balance. Now, going through these things, you'll notice that I have 3 cards here. Now, if I actually had more than 3 things planned out, you would notice that I'd have a nice bit to scroll down to, but I don't. I've only got 3 things planned in the upcoming future. If I had 20 things, then of course I'd be able to scroll down through all 20 cards, right? And you'll notice also that these cards are titled event or trip, and that's because I've either planned them as an event or I've planned them as a trip. And I'm going to show you how to do both of those things. Something else you'll notice about these cards is when they do have a picture, that means that they are actually completed. So if they show up on the dashboard, they're not just a stale white card. That means that they've actually been exported, they've been completed, and they are ready to go. That means that information, this planned out card, is actually blasted out to our companion app, which means you and everybody that you've just planned the event for or the trip for has received this plan in their app. Just to kind of walk you through some of the card features, you have a delete button right here. So if I wanted to actually delete any of these, I could just go right here. Of course, you're going to see a confirmation right there. I'm going to cancel that so I don't. Now, this button right here is an expand feature. So I'll talk about that in a second, but before I get to that, I want to talk about edit. Now, I did say once the card appears on the dashboard and it's got the picture on it and it's not a stale white card, that means that it's actually been exported, it's been completed. But that does not mean that you cannot go back to it and edit that information. That's one of the best things about Planiversity. Let's just say you've created a plan and you send it out to 20 people and that plan has a document attached to it, and now you say, oh, that's not the right document, I need to go back in and edit that. Or maybe you want to create a new scheduled function in there or a new scheduled item, or you want to edit a current scheduled item. You're just going to simply click on the edit button, and what it's going to do is it's going to open up that plan beginning at the start of the process. So when you start a plan from scratch, that's not what you're going to see. You're going to actually see the event or trip itinerary page that you build from, and once you get through that, where you add the information there, it will start walking you into the funnel. And the good thing about Planiversity is we keep it very streamlined. So you never have to sit there and wonder, how does this work? How does that work? No, now you can actually know that you're going to be going through a linear process until you get to the very last step, keeping it easy for you along the way. So if I want to go into something, now I did say you can edit, so I come back here and this is how I would actually edit something to be able to update it in the app. And of course, once I update this information and it saves, Now it's going to send a notification to the app saying your scheduled event has been edited or a new scheduled event has been added. But if I come in here and I say, well, let me just change this to 12:25, I update, you'll see a confirmation come up in the up right corner, and there it is. Now I know that I can go back to the home page and I'm done with that. I don't need to worry about that anymore. That scheduled event has been updated and a notification has been sent to the application. Now I did say that these cards have an expand feature. The great thing about the expand feature is this is the direction that Planiversity is going, is direct management, right? So I mentioned in the intro that Planiversity has a good amount of timeline management. Well, this is how you're going to manage a lot of that information, not just by managing the scheduled events, not by managing the documents and the plans and the notes, etc., but now you can actually manage the people attached. So if I click this expand button, what it's going to do is it's actually going to pull up the card and it's going to show me everybody who's been attached to that plan. If there was any documents that I attached to it, they're going to show right there. If I wanted to add any comments, they would be right there. These comments are just to kind of keep me on track. So if I say I want to put in there like the group needs to make sure that they do this when they get to this location, save it, boom, now I kind of keep myself reminded of certain things. Now you'll see in here that underneath the individuals that are attached to the plan, the attendees, there is a check-in presentation. So that means that when I actually created a scheduled event and sent that out to the individuals, this is myself, so I actually, through the application, knew that once I got to that scheduled event, it offered me the option to check in. Once I check in, it reports back to the website. So if you have a job that you want to send somebody a job plan, say, hey, you're going to go to Miss Murphy's house after this and you're going to, install something for them, you're going to clean something for them, whatever. That individual, your employee or your event guest or something, they will actually see that check-in feature in their mobile app and they'll be able to check in and report back to you, so you'll know exactly what time it was that they checked into that location, thus allowing you to keep tabs on the individual. Now that's a great thing, and one of the things that we're going to expand on is not only a chat function, which is coming up soon, but also location. So individuals will have the opportunity to share their location through the mobile app while they're using it, and that way you'll be able to kind of keep tabs. So if you're an event planner, if you're planning retreats, if you're maybe a wedding planner and you want to know where all 50 guests are, the status of all 50 guests, this is a great opportunity for you to be able to do that. If you're a business owner who has 10 employees going to 10 different locations, this is a great opportunity for you to keep tabs on them. So that is that check-in feature, and we will talk about that more. Coming back to the dashboard, you'll see that we have the calendar off to the right. Now I can actually isolate the information on here. So if I'm a business and I have a lot going on, maybe I don't want everything to show up on here. So I can see I've got a blue trip, I've got orange for the event over here, and if I wanted meetings only, of course I'd click on meetings, and if I had anything planned in here, then you would actually see it in red on the calendar. But I don't, so I can isolate that. That's a good thing. And of course, when you click on these will open a plan right now, but these are going to go away. So what Planiversity did initially was we would actually generate a PDF document with all your information, and now we're actually doing away with that because everything is going electronic. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to select all so that it shows me everything going on the calendar as far as trips, meetings, and events go. Again, you'll see those titles on each of the cards, and you'll also see that in the mobile application. If a trip comes up, you'll see the trip. If a event comes up, you'll see the event. And not only that, but you'll also see the individual who planned it. So let's just say you're an individual receiving a plan, and 3 of the people that you work with are planners. Now they can actually generate plans, and they can all send you a plan, and you will see in the application who actually sent you that plan based on the profile picture. So whatever profile picture I have, you'll actually see that show up on the card on the right side in the mobile application. Up top, you're going to see your account type. Now, obviously, being the founder, I have an admin account. That's not something that's common. Customer number right here for reference in the future. Packet number for sharing packets, and of course, general information on your trip or event. I come over here, and now we're actually going to be doing away with these features, the events, the meetings over here, because what's going to end up happening is instead of creating events through this standard sidebar, which is just really a form, you're actually going to be able to do it in the itinerary process. Now, events is already available. The jobs and any of the meetings, that is going to come after. So you're going to actually be able to create appointments and jobs in Planiversity in the very near future. So if you do have a business and you do have employees in the field and you say, hey, I'm going to create an event for my child's birthday party this weekend and invite 10 guests, and I'm also going to generate a plan for my employee who's in the field and send it to them. You can use Planiversity for so many different uses in the near future. Jobs right now, again, that is going to be appointments, so that's going to be something modified. A migration tool is a tool that means that, let's just say, I as an individual come into Planiversity and I start building a plan and I get to a point where I'm just kind of stuck. Well, what I can do is I can actually migrate this plan over to somebody else's account. So if I'm a planner and I know that you are somebody who typically uses but doesn't plan, and you've already started a plan, well, instead of starting from scratch, I can just take your plan using this packet number and I can migrate it over to my account, open it up, finish it up for you, and then blast it out to you, and now you've got it there. That's awesome. The archive is where you'll see any past plans. I can actually click on that, and we're doing away with this feature because everything is actually going to be going to digital, as I said before. So based on this, you were actually able to pull up old information, but since we're not using PDF anymore, that's not something that people are going to be able to access in the near future. And the reason is, again, because everything is going digital. You're able to access all of your past plans in the mobile application. You will have no need for this archive feature on the website. The travel booking feature is basically affiliates that we work with. You can come in here and you can search hotels, you can search rental cars, you can search flights. It's really up to you what you want to do. These are all affiliate accounts, but we offer a great variety, everything from travel insurance to different travel-based deals. I mean, there's a lot of options actually in here for you to mess around with. If I want to go back to the dashboard, just click the Planiversity, and here I am. Coming down to the marketplace, so Planiversity is in the process of actually launching a marketplace as well, and what that means is soon we're going to be able to connect users to professional services. So this is something that I explained in the intro. Now, what that means is the marketplace, it's slowly building up right now, and soon we're going to have a lot more services. But let's just say you want a concierge service and you're going to, New York Penn Station or New York LaGuardia, or there's Boston, there's Dallas, there's Tampa, there's a bunch of different locations. Let's just say you want to go with one of those because you're going to Boston, you're going to New York. Well, soon we're going to have a tab up here that when you get into the planning, it's going to actually say, based on your location, here's all of the services that can actually help you. Or maybe you don't want that, but maybe you do actually want somebody who's an event planner and they can actually plan for you. So they can actually use Planiversity to plan for you and use their experience to actually help you out, which would be awesome. Now, if I come down here, I get to the account section. I've got my profile information, which is pretty straightforward. I can update a profile image. I can update my email address, my telephone number, which we're going to be using in the near future for security purposes. And of course, I can change and update my password. Coming down to billing, if I'm a business, this is where I'm going to be able to find out in the billing section what the cost of increasing the team is going to be. So let's just say I have a team of 20 people. I would know that based on that number, I just adjust this scale right here to whatever 20 is, and then I can see that the price jumps up to $79.99 a month. Let's just say my team jumps up to 100 people, and now I got to get up there, so just kind of near it. It jumps up to $149 a month, or I could do it at the annual basis. But this is where you're going to be able to gauge what the actual cost is. Now, if you go into an enterprise level, that'll be up here. 500 and above, if you need to deal with that, if you have that amount of volume in your workforce, then you can always contact sales, fill out this form that sends out a contact message to us, and that means we know to get back to you right away to address that. Now, of course, going down through here, you can enable automatic payments. You can lock in previously entered information. And if you have a coupon code, this is where you would actually enter that information. You come down here during Christmas, during certain times of the year, we do offer sales. We do offer different types of promotions, and this is where you would actually put that coupon code in. Of course, you will have to put your billing information in, but you will instantly see that coupon code applied to that amount. So if we have an 80% off coupon, this is where you're going to see that immediately deducted from that amount. Coming down here, of course, there's your process right there. Now we're going to go back to the dashboard. The last part that I'm going to talk about is over here. There's just some settings. So I do have the ability in Planiversity to connect to Outlook Calendar and Google Calendar. And you'll also have that in your mobile application. So if you have the mobile app and you create a bunch of scheduled events, when you get to the application, you will see a scheduled section. In the scheduled section, you'll actually be able to open those functions up, or those scheduled functions up, in your local calendar. So you might have Google Calendar installed on your phone, you might have Outlook installed on your phone, and that's where you'd be able to bridge those. Now, if I'm the one who's planning and I want to link multiple calendars, I can absolutely do that. And what's going to happen is now every time I create a plan, I get an email with all the scheduled events and the information about that plan, which is awesome. Now, if I'm anyone who lives outside the United States and I decide that I would rather see everything, the numbers, distances, everything in metric, of course, I can change that over right here. Once I do that, it's going to shut off Imperial and it's going to make that adjustment. So you notice kind of a little bit of a hiccup in the website when we do that. As soon as I do that, it just triggers that change, refreshes the page, and boom, there you go. Now you've got that change again. That's it for the dashboard. The only last thing I'll tell you is when you do actually want to get started and you want to go into planning, all you do is you go up here to the top right and you click on Start a New Plan, and now that's going to take you into the planning. So the planning process begins with the itinerary build section. You'll notice right away that we hit you with a question, and that was how we decided to design this service, right? So what you're essentially doing is you're putting a lot of information into this system to be able to get a nice, clean, comprehensive plan that you can share with many people out of it. But one of the things that you have to take into consideration is most people don't really like doing a lot of work, especially if they're doing work into something, or they're putting work into something that is supposed to be making life a little bit easier. And we realize that in a lot of services we see out there, we criticize just the same way, thinking, of course, they could do this a little bit easier. So the way that Planiversity decided to make things easier is by breaking everything down into small segments, right? So we're just going to ask you questions, and you can see up here in this white line, we have a very linear process. So once we begin this itinerary section, we then move into the pipeline right here, and that's just going to walk you through step by step. Now, some of the things that you'll see a change in soon is the plan section right here is going to be moved over to right between schedule and notes. That's because we decided to lump the plans and schedule together, because you're essentially setting times, dates, locations, and you want those things to be kind of close to each other rather than splitting them up. Another thing that we're going to be doing is moving the connect section to this itinerary build section. So before you start building the process, that's when you're going to get to connect all the people in your plan. So if you have a party coming up with 10 different people and you're going to attach or connect this plan to those 10 different people, now instead of just going through the process and the second to last step, you add the people who are going to be attached to it. Now you're going to start with saying, this plan is going to be for, person 1 through 10. And then as you go through the process and you start answering the questions about, do you need a hotel room? Does person number 1 need a hotel room? Is this hotel room for person number 2, etc.? You're also going to notice soon that there's going to be 2 more things added to here, 2 more options. So right now we have the event or the trip option, but soon you're going to see the job and appointment option, meaning that you can have an event for parties, corporate events, whatever. Trip is pretty self-explanatory. Appointments are explanatory or self-explanatory, and the job is if you are a company and let's just say you have carpet cleaning services, or you have, whatever, steam cleaning, you have woodworking, you have plumbing, you have an electrical service, whatever, what have you, dog grooming, and you have 10 employees going out to 10 different locations. Well, now you can create a plan for each of those employees with the house information, with documentation, with notes, special instructions, where are they going, check-in features, etc. All of that's going to be right here for you to be able to manage your team out in the field, which is awesome. So today what we're going to do is we're going to start a simple plan, right? I'm just going to go with an event plan rather than a trip today because we could go both ways, but let's just pick one and we're going to go with event. So I just click on event and it's going to take me right into the first step. Again, like I said, it's going to be asking questions. It's going to break everything down in very manageable pieces. So let's just say this event is going to be at, we'll say the Cottontail, and there is a Cottontail place right there in Tampa, but you know what? I'm going to just switch it up. We'll say we're going to go to the Hilton Tampa. That's where it's going to be, the Hilton downtown. So we're going to have it there, and hey, we could actually stay at the same location that we're having the event. So I'm going to say, okay, next. This is going to be a multiple day event, and I want to do this on a weekend. So let's use March 29th through March 30th. The event starts at, let's say 12 o'clock, and it ends at, we'll say 5 o'clock p.m., right? So far, simple, right? Now we go into the next step. It's asking. Again, it's asking everything. It's prompting you. Do you need hotel details? If I say yes, it's actually going to connect me to the possibility of a booking engine through booking.com. If I say I need to book a room, it's going to pull up this pop-up. If I say no, well, that's obviously just going to go away, but that option's on the table for you. If I don't need any of that, I just select no, and it's just going to push me right on to the next question. But let's just say I want to go back. I want to actually give hotel details. I give that. I've already got a hotel. Let's just say we're going to stay at the Hilton. The date of check-in is going to be the 29th, and I'm actually going to leave on the 31st since the event's 2 days. And this is going to be at the Hilton Tampa. We'll go with the same one, Hilton Downtown. Now I'm going to move on to the next step. Same thing, rental car. Do you need a rental car? I could say yes, I could say no, but in this case, I'm going to say no. If I said yes, again, just like hotels, do you need to book one? If I say yes, then there's your opportunity to actually book through the service. If you say no, it's going to push you on to the last step. Now, you're wondering, why would we need to have a driving portion, a plane portion, train portion, something like that? Well, maybe you're going to an event at a location and now you want to do a trip to or a trip away from there. Maybe I'm going to have an event in Tampa, but then I'm going to have a flight that takes me to Miami right after that. That's what you can do with that. But another thing you could do with it is to say, I'm going to add a driving portion. I'm going to change the address. So I'm going to say the Hilton in Tampa. That's going to be our destination, right? And now I want to come from Tampa International Airport. There it is. Just pull that up. And you can see the map is doing something in the background. So if we minimize this, you can see what's going on. So there's two pins right here. You got the event location and you got the destination for the drive, right? Or, the hotel. So hotel, event location at the same location. The hotel is going to be the destination for my drive. And you can see that the system is already generating instructions on how to get from the airport over to the event and hotel location, right? Once I have that information, I just come down here, click next. That's all there is to it. If you ever at any point say, well, you know what, I'm going to change this. I want to do a trip instead. You have that option just clicking up here on trip. If you don't and you're good with the event, that's it. So you click next. The system's going to say, hey, why don't you go ahead and minimize this page, confirm everything looks good. If I say, yep, looks good to me, I create click event or create event. And now we're on to the first step in the process after this, the schedule. And here we are now at the schedule section. So just like we explained before, this is a very linear process. Once you get through that itinerary build section, now I can start getting into the details of my trip or my event or my job appointment, etc., right? I come over here, I just you know, it's very self-explanatory, but if you ever have any issues figuring out how to use any of these steps, we've included explainer videos in here. So you'll see right here, they're not long at all, about 25 seconds. In fact, this one's, what, 27 seconds. You come in here, you click the play button, it'll walk you very quickly through how to use this, and it couldn't be any easier, right? But again, we've tried to design this service not to be ambiguous, not to be confusing for people. I want my grandmother to be able to jump in here and use this if she actually needed to. So let's go through the schedule section and kind of talk about this. Now, one thing you'll notice is we've already got a card down here. This card corresponds with this icon right here, right? You can see right here is scheduled for March 29th at 7 a.m. And okay, I come over here, I mouse over this little event on the calendar, and I can see that it's confirming that. And you're gonna see 3 icons on the card, all right? So we got a check mark, we got a document, and we have notes right here. And that's exactly what those represent. The check mark represents the check-in feature that you can enable. So if you actually come here and you say, all right, we're gonna have a breakfast buffet, I want everybody there, so I'm gonna put the check-in feature on there. When you enable the check-in feature and you export this plan, that check-in feature is gonna show up in the mobile application in that plan, and it's gonna say once they get to that scheduled event, check-in. And so they can actually click that check-in, and what that's gonna do is, if we come back here, now this is the plan that we're working on right now, this is one that's already complete. If I want to see who's included in the plan, I just come up here and I take a look, and what it'll do is, let's just say for myself, right? There was a check-in feature. If I click that check-in, it's going to report right here that Eric checked in at whatever time, right? So that's how you actually do that. Now we're going to come back here. If I want to pick up where I left off in any plan, now the system automatically saves everything. So if I want to pick up where I left off, just come down here to this card. I click open. It's going to take me right back where I was, and now I can start building. Now let's talk about this quick. So you see a document here. That means I've actually attached a document to that scheduled event, meaning that if I give any special instructions, which is what the little note icon is, and documentation, I can include all this information in that one little scheduled event, right? So that means that if I say, hey, we're having a breakfast or we're having a luncheon, here's the invitation, make sure you wear a black tie, that type of thing. As a matter of fact, we'll build something like that. So let's just go ahead and we'll create a new one. Let's just say luncheon. Not a business one. We're going to use the Hilton in Tampa, same location as always. The event on the 29th, we're going to have this at 11:30 a.m. Save the event. Now the system's going to start throwing you pop-ups, asking you questions. Do you want to add a check-in for this? If I say yes, I want to have a check-in for this, well, I can just easily right here select the check-in. So we'll actually go ahead and select that. And now if I want to add special instructions, I can say yes. Obviously I can say no too, but I'm going to say make sure that all men wear a black tie. There you go. That's my special instruction for the scheduled event. Now if I want to add a document, I can come up here, just click yes. And now there's my upload file button. I just open whatever on my computer, add a document, upload it, and boom, it's done. And as soon as I finish, click next, it's gonna save that card. You can come back and do this at any point. So if I come in here and I say, nope, I'm good, it's gonna save that card. Now you'll notice this time there's no document attached, right? But if I decide later on I wanna come back in, even after the plan's been exported, this is the great part about it. You can update that information. You can come back in, you can edit things. So let's just say we want to come in here. We're going to edit this card. I'm going to say, well, I made a mistake. It's now going to be at 12 p.m. And let's go ahead and add a document. So this is still good. This is still good. Now let's say we do actually want to add a document. And I'm going to add this test document A right here. Perfect. I'm just going to select next. And now we're going to update. You're going to see the box up here in the top right corner confirms that the information's been updated. And now I look down here, I see I've got a document icon, and I see the time's been changed successfully. Perfect. That's all there is to it. I can come over here. I see the information right there, and I can even create, let's just create one more. And let's just say that we have transportation to event is going to be at the hotel. And we'll just say, oops. There we go. And, you know, we're obviously staying in the same location, but if we had, a wedding at a different event, a different venue, that's what we would put. Well, let's just say same time. We're going to do this at 2 o'clock p.m. All right. Let's save that event. This time I'm not going to require a check-in. I'm going to give special instructions and just say, let's make sure that you bring a jacket. All right, next, I don't want to attach a document. Boom, now we got our third card. Only one icon, this time showing there's only a note. Maybe I made a mistake. If I want to go back in and edit, I can come in here, update note and or document, come in here. Next, I forgot to say rain jacket to be more specific. Next, update. Here we go. It's successfully updated. Now, every time, especially after this plan's been exported, anytime you change a scheduled event, a plan, a note, a document, that person's going to get a notification telling them that something's been updated or that the schedule's been updated, a document's been updated. This way, they are getting real-time information. And if you happen to put 6 events in the same day and you see that, this calendar's starting to get a little congested looking because obviously we got the 3 dots over here, it would just start overflowing and creating more. If I want this in a more linear perspective, I just come up here to the preview view, select that, and now I've got everything lined up in a very clean format. Obviously, if I had 20 cards down here, I would be able to scroll down through these, I'd be able to scroll down through these, and it just keeps everything clean and easy to read. That's it. That's all there is to the schedule section. Now on to the notes. So now we come to the notes section. Again, very easy to use, very self-explanatory. You can see right here, add notes to your trip packets, add note right here. So, if you have any issues figuring out how to use something, you simply come over here, click the explainer video, boom, video pops up. This one's 23 seconds. You can see it's very easy to use, or it's a very short video, very, very non-time consuming, right? But I can pretty much figure it out just by adding a note. So let's just go in here and we want to start saying the code to the entrance hall is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Let's go ahead and save that. Now the system, again, it's just going to start dropping cards. Now, as you export this, it's all going to show up inside the mobile application, inside the companion app. So again, once everybody's connected and everybody has, the app, of course, on their phone, this app or this plan will show up inside that application. They'll have all these notes, all the scheduled events, all the documents, everything that you need them to have. And soon they're going to have maps. They'll have more. You can be as thorough about this as you want. You can be as simple about this as you want. But coming back to the notes, we'll just add one more and we'll say the weather is cold that day, so prepare for that. There we go. Weather's supposed to be cold that day, so prepare for that. We'll save that note right there. That's it. Again, I can create as many notes as I want. I can come in, I can edit the notes at any time. Maybe I was wrong about this and the code's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Update that. If this plan was exported, it would blast that out to the plan, to the application. Everybody would know, oh, cool, he just updated the code. Boom, just like that. All right, it's a pretty short section, simple to use, so we're going to finish up here and we're going to move on to resources. Now here we are at the resource section, and I gotta be honest, I almost hesitate to show this section, but it's absolutely fine because I know I can update this section at any point in the demo. So what this is this is connecting you to resources in your area, your destination. So you can see right here, you've got Tampa up on the map. I've got a circle around it. And again, if you have any questions about how to use any of these features, you just come into the explainer video. It's right there. It'll walk you through step by step. Again, this is a short one, 38 seconds. Not too bad, right? Everybody's got 38 seconds. So to get through it, and the reason why I say I hesitate to talk about this is because we're actually going to narrow down search parameters here shortly. We're going to get rid of weather since we're already having weather as a given in the application. We're going to get rid of the embassy maps since now you'd actually be able to manually input anything that you want as far as a destination location. And the directions are going to stay, right? But we're going to change a few things, and we're just like the notes, the schedule section, and the plans that you'll see, we're going to be dropping cards once we isolate things. And by isolate, I'll tell you what I mean. So I come in here and I can make this radius up to 20 miles, which of course, who really wants 20 miles? But right now I've got it set for a mile. And what I want to know is where the resources are around my destination. And, things that might be important to me are, I need to know where the hospitals are because I have a pre-existing condition. Well, that's easy. I click hospitals, all these icons show up. I can find out the information about that location just by clicking there, and that's it. Now I have all the information. I know where the hospital is. I know what the phone number is, operating hours, website, etc. Maybe I want to check this guy right here. Oh, that's closed. Okay. And here, there you go. So you have all this information. Now, the way you're going to see these cards change and how this section is going to change is you're actually going to see these cards extended. And underneath the website, you're going to see the distance to your destination. And you're going to have an add button over here, which means now you can click and add this, and it's going to drop this card over here. So instead of getting to your destination, and now I've only created a 1 mile radius, but if I'm in, let's say New York City, for example, and I want to know where the ATMs are around my destination for 5 miles, there's going to be a lot of icons, right? There's going to be a ton of icons. That's a lot of information. We want to narrow that down. So if we are going to this destination, and maybe I say, I want to know where the parking garages are, but I don't want my guests to have to walk far. So I might want to limit the options to this garage, and this garage. I shouldn't have to have a list with, however many icons are on here, 20 or so. So that's how we're going to update this section. Again, if you need to know information about something, you just click the button and there it is. There's your information, and soon you'll be able to see distance to your destination as well as an add card, so it just drops that. And then when you go into the resource section on the companion app, now you're actually going to see only the ones that matter to your event, which is awesome, right? Because if you're having a birthday party, a wedding, these types of things, you don't want somebody to have to fish through 20 different icons. You don't want them to have to see all these options. Maybe if they want to park 5 miles away, they can, but if they want to know what's close by, then you can say, hey, here's the 3 approved parking garages. We have a special rate there, and boom, there they are. Now, again, I can add as many things as I want. You can see there's a long list here of things. So, maybe around my destination, I want to know where the cafes are. Look at that. Boom. There's my information. There's a cafe right there. There's a cafe right there. Oops, what happened there? Ooh, I just caused it to reset itself. So let's come down here. Let's pick these cafes again. There you go. And now let's pick this guy again. Lady in the Mug. All right, that sounds like a winner right there. And what's this guy? Tropical Smoothie Cafe. So that's how this feature works. Now, the other things, of course, like I said, weather, you could select that, but weather's just a given. It's already in the mobile application, so we're going to get rid of it in the website because we don't need it anymore. Embassy maps, again, we're getting rid of that because we don't need that anymore. You're going to be able to manually put that in here. And so if I'm going to Paris, France, I might say U.S. Consulate, and now I can actually click on that icon and add that to the card so I don't have to sit there and fish through a bunch of icons. And driving directions is going to stay like I said. So we said that we're going to have a driving portion from the airport to the destination, to the hotel. And, maybe we want people to have those driving instructions. So I just click on directions, and now look at that. Now I've got some distance, I've got some timing. It's pretty simple. There's not many routes that I need to take. Pretty straightforward, right? And of course I could toggle back and forth between these two by clicking the tabs. Too easy. That's it. That's all there is to the resource section. Pick as much or as little information as you want. There's no limit here. You can sit here and you could go crazy. You could say, I want to know where the cafes are. I want to know where the parks are. I want to know where any universities are, taxi services, service stations, you name it. There's so much in here. What kind of park is this? Joseph Fry Park. Perfect. That's it. Let's move on to the next step. Okay, here we are at the planning section, or the plan section. Again, something pretty straightforward. If you have any questions on how to use this or any other feature, there's explainer videos. The only thing we don't have an explainer video on is the document and connect section. Those are very self-explanatory, but you'll see that in a short period. So right now, the way that you use this, you know, you look at it and there's a map, there's icons, and you can see cards over here already. This is different from the schedule section, right? And I'm going to tell you how it's different. The schedule is what exactly you think about a schedule. It's keeping people on a timeline, right? You're saying we need to be here at this time. This event starts at this time. I need you to be there at that time. And here's all your information. Here's your documents. Here's your special instructions. Go to it. That's a schedule, right? We're not doing schedules here. We're doing plans here, which means now I'm actually setting up fun things to do at my location. Like, you know, we've got a wine tour here. We've got jet ski rental. And if you notice the difference between the two, you'll notice that the jet ski rental actually has a calendar icon on it. And you can see why. Its schedule is linked. So when I mouse over that calendar, schedule is linked, meaning anything that I create in this plan section, if I attach a time to it, it drops to the schedule, but I'm giving it that command, right? It's just not arbitrarily doing that. So here's how you actually do this type of thing. So let's just say we want to go to do a, let's go to Busch Gardens. We're going to say we want something to do. We're going to go to Busch Gardens. All right, so want to go to Busch Gardens, going to be a thing to do. I come over here. Now I can either manually add the address of the thing that I want to go do, or I can just click on the map. It's going to pull up the address. I can see right here it's confirmed. I can view it on Google Maps if I want, but if I know that that's the right address, I come over here, click add. Pop-up comes up and asks me, do I want to add a date and time to this? And maybe I'm going to say, you know, I do want to add it to my schedule, or maybe I don't. And in this case, I'm going to say, no, I don't really want to. We're going to Busch Gardens that day. That's all there is to it. I select no. I say okay. Now, if I say, well, we actually have, I don't know where there's a, let's see if we can find, here we go. Right here. Looks like there's lots of golf courses around here. So let's just say we have a tee time somewhere at a very specific time and we can't mess this up. Well, now we're going to say golf, golfing, sure, type of activity. I'm just going to give the activity some kind of title. It's either a thing to do, a place to eat, or a person to see, and that will expand soon. But right now, pretty self-explanatory. This is a thing to do. So now I'm going to say, all right, we're going to come up here to this golf course. That is confirmed. I add that, and now I want to make sure that I do add this to the schedule because it requires a very specific time, and our tee time is for the 30th at 9 a.m. That's it. Once I select OK, that card drops down here, and I can see now that I've got the calendar icon, meaning schedule listed. If I want to verify that it's there, so if I go back to the schedule section, I should not see wine tour, I should not see Busch Gardens, but I should see golfing and jet ski rental. Come back here to the schedule section just by clicking on it. I just go on down, just scroll, and here you are, jet ski rental and golfing. I come over here, I can look at the calendar, everything's verified on there, and of course I can go to the preview view, and boom, golfing, jet ski rental. There's one at 9 a.m., there's one at 1 p.m. We have a nice full day. But now let's add something to that. Once I've confirmed these are in the scheduled event, I just come back up here to plans, click plans to get back to the section. Now let's just say while we're there, not going to be any time with it, but we want to visit grandma. All right, so let's just say it's going to be people to see. And I know that grandma lives in, let's just say, Bayshore Beautiful. Grandma lives down here on Wallcraft Ave. I come down here, click on there, verify the address. Again, if it's not the right address, I can easily just change that and say 3210 Wallcroft, verified, add that. No, we don't need a time. Okay, and that's that. That's as easy it is. But if I decide for any reason that that is not grandma's location and I messed up and grandma actually lives on Harbor View Ave, it's pretty simple. I just scroll on down to visit grandma, click the edit icon, and now you'll see the icon start bouncing. That means it's available to actually move around. I take this, I move it right down one block. I said she's on Harbor View, and 3207, no, she's at 3208. There we go. Verify, update that information. I get my successful updated plan, and that's it. Now again, if this plan is already exported, everyone who's connected to it is going to receive an update saying, hey, a plan's just been adjusted, a plan's just been changed, a plan's just been updated. They're going to get that real-time notification, so everybody is staying in the loop. That's how you use plans. Very simple, very easy. On to the next step, the documents. All right, we're getting there. Third to last point. This is the document section. This is now where I can add copies of documentation. So, maybe someone's going to an appointment. I want them to have documentation. Maybe they're going to a certain, whatever, a birthday party. I want an invitation attached to it. Maybe they're going to a club. You want some information. Maybe they're just going to a winery and you want the brochure attached to it. This is where you add this. If you're taking a trip, you might want to add digital copies of your passport and driver's license just in case you lose something. That way you have something to reference when you go to the consulate, But this is where you upload all these documents so that way you have these for the future. I remember during COVID when I'd be traveling back and forth to Europe, I would actually have to carry copies of the vaccination with me, so I would have those in digital form, right? So that way I could just open up the plan, show it, and there it is. So if I want to upload something, I simply come over here, I just select what the category of it is. You could have a license, an itinerary, you could have a travel itinerary, or you could have an additional document. I'm going to say I want to add an additional document. I'm going to go to the upload. It takes JPEGs, it takes PDF, you can really put in here almost anything you want. And I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to add 3 of these test documents. There we go. There we go. So I got 3 documents highlighted. I select open, and now I see I've got test doc A, B, and C updated. Now, of course, you can just delete them. There's no editing because there's nothing that you're putting in as far as timelines. There's nothing you're putting in as far as dates, anything like that. No text. So this is straightforward document attachment. It's very simple, no confusion. That's it for the document section. On to Connect. All right, now here we are at one of my favorite sections, the Connect slide, right? Now, like I said before, this is actually going to be moving to a different location. So instead of getting down the pipeline and after you've done all the planning, now you say, all right, by the way, this plan pertains to this person, this person, this person, and the other 7 people. Now we're going to lead off with it, and the plan's going to say, hey, this plan relates to this person, this person, this person, or this group. And I'm going to plan that group in the people section from the dashboard. So if I want to have a Florida travel group or a Tampa travel group, right, because we're going to Tampa on this one, I can go ahead and I can go back to the Planiversity people page, right? I just select people, I select groups here, and now I can actually create groups. And of course the system's going to show you when they were created. You can edit them, you can delete them. If I say maybe I don't want to call it the Tampa travel group, but I want to call it the Tampa party group. I do that. I update that information. System confirms it. Now to go back to the Connect section, I just go back to the dashboard. I open up my plan again. I come over here. I go straight back to the Connect section where I was at, and I should see that updated. And you can see here, now we have the Tampa party group, not the Tampa travel group. So what I did was I went ahead and I created the group in the people page. And if I want to add those people, a very quick way to do that, come up here to this radio button, select group, pick your group. Now, the only way a group is going to show up is if there are people associated with it. If you create groups and you don't attach anybody to that group, they're not going to show up, right? But you will be able to add them through people as individuals. But what I'm going to do is I already selected the Tampa party group since I created that, and I only added 2 people to it just as an example. And you can see that as soon as I added that Tampa party group, I click add, and boom, now those people dropped instantly onto this deck. But I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to say, okay, well, we have 2 people in that group. I added an extra person, and now let's just add one more person, Tim. Add him. And now you can see we have an additional card on there. So now here's all the people that I want attached to my plan, meaning that everyone here has a profile, they have the companion app, and as soon as I export this thing, they're going to receive this plan inside their application. That's the connect feature. All right, here we are at the very last step. Very, very easy. You know, we've gone through a very simple process, a very simple pipeline. We've built a plan, we've added information to it. Now we can actually have everyone know all the details of this trip coming up, this event coming up. It's going to be awesome. But the last thing that we need to do is give it a name and personalize it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, this is going to be my Tampa party group. Give it the title. Whoop, made a little mistake there. Correct that. And now I'm going to just review, edit, and personalize it. So here's where I can see everything that I added, the documents, the notes, everything. If I want to delete those, I can, but I'm just kind of verifying the information, right? That's all that's there for, is a little helpful tool. And then I come over here if I want to change the cover. Now, if you export this plan and you just don't bother to put any cover on it, it's going to default to this Planiversity cover, which is absolutely fine, right? Maybe some people don't mind that. But if you want to put like your group photo on there, or maybe this is your birthday party, your wedding, whatever, you want to put your picture on it, you absolutely can. And just come over here, click change cover. Now we use the Unsplash API, which means you can either upload something from the library or you can upload your own image. And simply by just clicking browse, you go into your computer, you fish out whatever image that you have, and then you select upload, and boom, now you've got your own picture, your own customized picture. But let's just say I don't have that. You know, I could have something resembling that. I could say party, and now let's see what they've got for options with a party, right? Come down here and well, everything looks very exciting, but you know, let's just go with something simple and cute and add the little piñata. That's it. That's the cover of your plan now. That's what you're looking at. So when everybody gets the plan in their phone, this is what they're going to see as the cover, your Tampa party group, right? So what we do is, now that I've got the cover, I'm just going to save and close this, and I'm finished. And then again, if you finish it and you export it, it doesn't mean that you can't go back in and edit information. It doesn't mean you can't change documents, that you can't change that cover photo, change the title on it. As soon as you export it, that just blasts it out to everyone. Now, editing is something you can do at any time. So now what we're going to do is, all that information is compiling, which is why it'll take a minute. So the system is generating all that information. It's putting it all together. If you have very little information added to this plan, it might be a very short, like 5-second reel that you just saw there, or the GIF just spinning for 5 seconds. If you have a lot of information, a very, very detailed plan about a wedding, something like that, you know, you're traveling abroad, of course, it's going to take a minute just to, you know, pull all that information together. So again, this is what we have now. We've got the card here. I can see right here, wow, I've got my event card up here. Now, if I want to verify it, look at that. It just appears down here. There's my party group. It's showing in the calendar, and it's also showing up on here. This is what people are going to see inside their phone, and this is what it's going to look like when they receive it. Now you will notice on here also that there is a picture on there. Now that picture just represents who created the plan. So, you know, if you're a business, maybe you have your business logo in there. If you're, you know, grandma and grandma created the plan, it's going to be grandma's profile picture. Whatever picture you have in your profile, that is going to be the picture that shows up. I come back here to the home. Now, again, if I want to edit this, I can edit this by just clicking the edit button. If I want to see who's attached to this plan, I just click that button. I can scroll down through here, and even if I say, oh man, I completely forgot I wanted to add this person, or I thought this one person wasn't going to be able to make it, but now it turns out they are, it's simple to add them. I just come back in here, I click the edit button, I just go back to the connect section. We're going to jump ahead to that. And now I can just go into the list, pull out whoever, okay, we'll just say dev user. We'll add that individual. It's one of my dev accounts. There we go. And now that's it. I see the verification up in the top right corner. I can come back here to my dashboard. I've edited it. And now let's open this card up and see if he's actually been added. right there. There he is. Can't miss it. And again, if people check in, you're going to see the check-in, and you're also soon going to be able to start chatting. So you're going to be able to launch the chat feature from Planiversity's dashboard and talk to the entire group. So now you can be sitting here on the computer saying, hey group, make sure everybody does this, make sure everybody does that, and they're going to receive that chat message inside the application. It's going to be awesome, honestly. We can't think of a better way to plan a trip or an event, all right? That's it. That's all there is to Planiversity. And if you have any questions, as always, reach out to us. We hope this was helpful. Thank you very much for your time.